Thank you for coming. This is the second week of the meditation class.
谢谢大家来参加今天晚上第二课禅修班。
So we just sat for half an hour, right?
刚刚我们做了半小时，
Maybe you were looking up at the clock, right?
可能你在看着时钟。
So sometimes the clock goes very fast, sometimes it goes very slow.
有的时候时钟好像走得很快，有的时候走得很慢。
Sometimes your leg hurts, sometimes it doesn't.
有的时候你的脚会痛，有的时候不会痛。
Sometimes your mind is clear, sometimes it's not.
有的时候你的心很清明，有的时候不清明。
Sometimes you have very good posture and form, sometimes you don't.
有的时候你的姿势很好，有的时候姿势不好。
Sometimes you're thinking about last week when we had such a nice New Year's, or maybe you're afraid about what's going to happen next year.
或者有的时候你在想着上个礼拜我在过年的事情，或者你会想到以后可能并不是那么好。
Here's the interesting thing. All of that was yours.
有趣的是，那所有的一切都是你的，
That was your experience.
那是你的体验，
That wasn't anybody else's idea. That was yours.
那并不是别人的想法，那是你的。
So that's what Zen means. Make your life yours.
那就是禅修的意思，就是把你的生命、你的生活变成你自己的。
So the Buddha had many interesting things to say about human beings and their lives.
那佛陀说了很多有关于人跟人生的一些事情。
The most interesting, though, is the first thing he says right after he gets enlightenment.
那最有趣的就是佛陀他开悟之后，他所说的第一件事。
In fact, in my opinion, it's the most interesting thing that any human being ever said about that could be considered religious.
那对我来说，这应该就是任何人对于宗教的，从宗教的角度来讲，可以讲到最好的东西。
He said, "How wonderful! Everything already has it. Everything already has Buddha nature."
他说：“奇哉，奇哉！大地众生已经有佛性。”
So this is really good news.
这是很好的消息。
It means all that stuff you experienced over in that last 25 minutes is your Buddha nature.
也就是说，你在刚才25分钟静坐的时候所体验到的所有的东西，都是你的佛性。
Then the next thing he said was, "But human beings don't understand that."
然后他接着说：“但是人类不了解这一点，
They don't understand that they already have Buddha nature.
他们不了解人类已经拥有佛性，
And because of that, they suffer.
因为他们不了解，所以他们受苦。”
So this is very interesting. It means that human beings suffer. They create all this suffering for themselves and everything else in the world because they don't understand what they truly are.
这很有趣，这意思就是说，人类为自己以及这整个世界，还有所有的众生制造了很多苦，原因是因为他们不知道他们已经拥有佛性。
So in English, we probably would say, well, all of this is caused by a misunderstanding.
那以现代的话或者英文来说呢，就是因为误解，所以产生了这所有的苦。
So Zen, this Chan style, is to help you to get over your misunderstanding.
那禅宗的方法就是帮助你突破你的误解。
So the Buddha said that actually there was no difference between him and every other human being.
那佛陀说，他跟所有的人都一样，没有差别。
So usually when we think of the Buddha, we think he's an extraordinary person.
通常当我们在想到佛陀的时候，我们会觉得他是一个非常了不起的人。
And he is a little bit special. He's a very good teacher.
他也有一点不一样，因为他是一个很好的老师。
But he said he wasn't special.
但是他说他并不特别。
So that's interesting because usually when we think about religious people, we think about Lao Tzu or Zhuangzi or Jesus or Muhammad or something. You think about them as being very special.
这很有趣，因为当我们在想到某一些宗教人物，比如说老子、庄子或者基督或者 穆罕默德的时候，我们会觉得他们是很特别的人。
So one time, a monk went to the Buddha and said, Buddha, what's the difference between you and me?
那有一回，佛陀的一个弟子就去问佛陀，他说：“佛陀，请问你跟我有什么不同？”
Then the Buddha had a very interesting answer. He said, there is no difference between you and me. None.
佛陀给了他一个很有趣的答案，他说：“你跟我之间没有任何不同，
It's just that I'm awake and you aren't.
只不过是我觉醒了，但是你还没。”
So even the sixth patriarch, Hui Neng, said, there's no difference between a so-called sage and a regular person.
那六祖他也有说圣人跟这个平常人之间没有什么不同。
It's just that a sage knows that they're awake and most people don't know. That's why they cause all this trouble for each other.
只不过是圣人知道他们是觉醒的，但是其他人却不晓得，所以他们为这个世间带来了很多的痛苦。
So all of Zen is about this very simple one basic thing. Wake up.
所以禅宗的教导都可以包含在一个教导里面，就是觉醒。
Wake up to what you truly are.
觉醒到你本来的自己。
We call this your true self.
我们称它为自信。
So one of the most interesting stories in Zen is about the life of the founder of this Zen style. That's Hui Neng.
那在禅宗的教导故事里面呢，有一个很有趣的故事，是有关于禅宗的这个可以说是创宗者，他就是六祖慧能。
He's the founder of the modern style of Zen teaching, the kind of stuff that he does and I do, blah, 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 blah. He founded that.
那他创立了现代的禅宗，就是我们这边在教导跟学习的。
So his enlightenment story is very interesting.
他开悟的故事很有趣，
because it's very, very simple.
因为它非常非常简单。
So he got enlightenment when he heard just one line from the Diamond Sutra.
他听见《金刚经》里面的一句就开悟了。
So if you come here to Kuan Yin Chanlin, you know, like what is it? Every Friday night you chant the Diamond Sutra.
如果你每个礼拜五晚上来到观音禅林，我们这里会诵《金刚经》。
This is great. Every Friday night they do it.
很好，因为每个礼拜五晚上都会诵《金刚经》。
So the sixth patriarch got enlightenment when he heard one line from this sutra that we chant every Friday night.
那六祖慧能他听到我们每个礼拜五晚上所诵的《金刚经》里面的一句，就开悟了。
So I always wanted to do a survey, you know, like how many people on Friday night got enlightenment?
那我常常想要做一个调查，就是想知道说，礼拜五晚上诵经的人里面有多少人开悟了。
But then somebody told me, well, it's in this old style of Chinese and we don't really understand what it says.
但是可能有的人会说那是古代的中文，但是我们现在人都不太了解。
In fact, today I was writing an article for Vesak Day that we're going to put in our newsletter. So I was going to use a line out of the Diamond Sutra, but of course I don't read and I don't speak Chinese, so I had to look at the English translation.
那今天在写一篇文章就是在卫赛节的时候要用的文章，然后我想把《金刚经》里面的一句话放进去，但是当然我看不懂，也不会讲华语。
So I looked at the English translation, and sure enough, the line is there.
然后我就去看英文翻译，果然那句话就在里面。
In fact, you don't have to understand the Diamond Sutra, and you don't have to chant the whole thing. All you need to hear is this one line.
事实上，你并不一定需要了解中文或者去诵整部的《金刚经》，你只需要知道这一句。
So this is the teaching of the Buddha, just one line, and the sixth patriarch gets this big enlightenment we still remember over 1,300 years later.
那这个六祖他听见了这一句话，这句话了，就包含了佛陀的所有的教导。他听这句话就开悟了，一直到现在1300多年以后，我们还在庆祝这件事情。
So the line says, when thinking arises in your mind, don't attach to it.
这句话是因无所住而生其心，就是说，当你的思维升起的时候，不要执着它，
And you got this big enlightenment.
然后它就证得开悟。
So that's very simple.
这非常简单。
In fact, all of Buddhism and all of Zen is based on that one line.
事实上，佛教所有的教导以及禅宗所有的教导都基于这一句话。
So Buddhism and the Buddha taught that we need to return to our original self. Right?
那佛教以及佛陀他教导说，我们要回归到我们的自信，
Let go of our misunderstanding, and then naturally back behind this misunderstanding is your true self.
放下你的误解。那在很自然的，在这误解的背后，就是你的自信。
So that line says, when thinking arises in your mind, that's your false notion, don't attach to it, just let it be.
那句话说：“因无所住而生其心”，就是当你的思维升起的时候呢，不要执着它，只是把它放下。
So the techniques you learn here in the Zen meditation class are all about that just one simple thing, how to let go of your thinking.
那我们在这里学习的修行的方法就是那样，怎么样放下你的思维？
So that's what the Buddha discovered. You know?
那就是佛陀他发现的。
So he saw, like I was talking last week, he saw old age, sickness, and death. Then he saw, oh, this is human suffering. It really feels bad. Right?
那上个礼拜我有说到，说佛陀他发现了人有生老病死，然后他知道这是一个很不好的状况。
Then he had this big question, why do we suffer? Why is it? Why do we have such a bad feeling about what's going on?
然后他心里面升起了一个很大的疑问：为什么人类会受苦？为什么会发生这种事情？
That means, what is a human being? Why? Why?
意思就是人到底是什么？为什么会这样？
Then he did something very interesting, as I talked about last week. He just looked inside, looked inside, looked inside, looked inside.
那我上个礼拜有说，佛陀他就做了一件很有趣的事情，他就往内心关照。
So all the different meditation techniques that you can encounter, whether they're Hindu, Buddhist, Taoist, all the different kinds of Buddhism, Christian techniques, all those techniques are to help you look inside.
所以所有的不同的静坐或者坐禅的方式，不管是佛教禅宗的，或者是基督教的、道教的，所有这些方法都是让我们可以往内心关照。
And in the end, all these techniques are very simple,
那这些方法其实都很简单。
right? The Buddha just breathe in, breathe out, and pay attention. That's very simple.
佛陀只是吸入呼出，然后注意，只是这样子，很简单。
But it has a big result
但是它有一个很大的结果，
because it teaches you how to let go of your
Amen.
thinking.
因为它教导你怎样放下你的思维。
When you let go of your thinking, then it can't control you.
当你放下你的思维的时候，它就不能够控制你。
So when you're born, right away you start downloading software into your brain.
当你出生的时候呢，你就很小很小就开始下载很多的软体到你的脑袋里面去。
Right? You understand how computers work, right?
你们知道这个电脑是怎么操作的吧？
You know, they have hardware. Okay, everybody has that.
电脑有硬体，那每个人都有。
Part of this hardware is firmware, you know, makes the whole thing work.
那这硬体里面呢，有一些固定的那个软体，这个软体操作的时候，这个电脑就可以操作。
And then there's software, right?
然后也有其他的软体，
And there's many different kinds of that.
那有很多种各种各样不同不一样的这个软体。
So the first downloads come from your mother, right? You're always downloading stuff from your mother.
那你最初刚刚下载的那个软体，就是来自你妈妈，你妈妈给你很多东西，然后这个软体就进去了。
And then you also download software from your father.
然后当然你也从你父亲那边下载了一些软体。
He isn't the main software source, but he's a very significant one.
你父亲可能不见得是最大的这个软体的来源，但是却是很重要的。
And then you download software from your relatives, like your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. There's a lot of providers out there.
然后你就从其他的人，比如你的兄弟姐妹啊、亲戚朋友、你的叔叔阿姨那边下载了很多的软体，有很多软体供应者。
And then you go to school, so you get software from your friends, from all the books you read, and now you even get it from the internet.
那你去上学的时候，你就可以从你的朋友啊，还有很多书籍里面下载很多软体。现在你甚至可以从网络上面下载很多软体。
So the big question from a Buddhist point of view is, do you control the software or does the software control you?
那从佛教的角度来讲，最重要的问题就是你控制软体，还是软体控制你？
So if you control the software, then you can use it to help the world.
如果你控制软体的话，你就可以利用它来帮助这个世界。
But if the software controls you, then you have a problem.
但是如果软体控制你的话，那你的麻烦就大了。
So most human beings are controlled by their like and dislike software.
那大部分的人都被他们的喜欢跟不喜欢的软体所控制住。
The Buddha called that your dream. Right?
佛陀称它为你的梦。
So human beings live in a dream, and our job is to wake up from that dream.
人活在我们的梦里面，所以我们应该从梦中觉醒过来。
So just before he died, the Buddha said, life is very short.
在佛陀涅槃之前呢，他说人生苦短。
Then he said, please investigate it closely.
然后他说你要审慎的去关照。
So investigating it closely means do some practicing.
意思就是要进行一些修行的功夫。
Then you can understand how the computer works and use all of its abilities to help the world.
然后你就可以了解你自身的这个电脑是怎么样操作的，然后你就可以用它来帮助这个世界。
So as I said last week, Zen means find your true self. That's what the Buddha did. And help the world. That's what the Buddha did.
那上个礼拜我有说过，禅宗的教导就是觉醒，佛陀做了那件事，然后呢，帮助这个世界，佛陀也做了那件事。
So actually the project is very simple. The question is, will you do it? Right?
所以你的作业其实很简单，问题是你会不会去做？
So that's the simple thing.
那就是那个所谓简单的东西。
So we get good teaching.
我们可能获得好的教导，
We've learned these very simple techniques.
我们学了这个很简单的方法，
Then the next thing is do something.
然后下一步就是去做。
And for sure it'll have a result if you do it.
如果你去做的话，肯定会有一些成果。
And of course, if you don't do it, what's the result?
如果你不去做的话，那怎么会有什么成果呢？
Suffering.
那唯一的结果就是受苦。
So actually, every human being has the same job that the Buddha had.
其实每一个人都有跟佛陀一样的工作，
We call this our original human being's job.
我们称它为我们人类本来的工作，
And that's to wake up from your dream.
那就是从你的梦中醒过来。
So some people live in a power dream.
有的人活在权力的梦里面，
Some people live in a money dream.
有的人活在金钱的梦里面。
I know most of my friends in the United States, they all live in a money dream, Gotta get more money.
那我在美国很多的朋友呢，都活在金钱的梦里面，
It's kind of like the old Singapore saying, money not enough.
就好像新加坡这边很有名的一句话，就是钱不够用，
Or they live in a food dream or a sex dream.
或者他们生活在食物的梦或者性爱的梦里面，
Many, many different kinds of dreams.
非常非常多各种各样的梦。
In fact, there's as many dreams as there are human beings' minds.
事实上，这个梦种类的数目就跟所有人类的心的数目一样多。
So our job is to wake up so we can stop causing trouble and to help the world.
那我们的工作就是觉醒，然后不要制造任何的问题，帮助这个世界。
Very simple.
非常简单，
Okay?
可以吗？
All right, good.